Everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today I want to discuss something that I find personally quite disturbing. I understand why it's happening, but the consequences of this happening for me are absolutely enormous, because what it will mean is that we are stuck with the same political parties in charge of this country that we've been for the last 100 years. And that is that local Reform UK branches up and down the country, as we speak, are advertising on social media, like the one in my area is, that it is holding emergency meetings to talk about, one, the situation with Rupert Lowe and Nigel Farage, but two, to discuss the future of that branch. Now, I take that as if they possibly could shut the local branch down. Now, bear in mind, in a lot of areas in England, we are 2 months off the local elections, and these local elections was going to be the starting point for Reform UK to win hundreds of council seats, build momentum up, show to the electorate out there that they can win big in lots of different areas. Now, everybody knows what's happened, so I'm not going to bore you. There's hundreds and hundreds of videos out there about the clash between Nigel Farage and Rupert Lowe, and I totally agree, it's not good whatsoever. I've got my suspicions on what's happened. I think a lot of it started with the tweet off Elon Musk, and you've got two big characters with two big egos. Now, I am a Nigel Farage fan. I support reform and will carry on supporting reform. But like many of you who watch this channel, I feel exactly the same as you do when I hear things like the police have been called in. It sounds like something that the establishment does when it wants to punish opposition people, like independent councillors here in the council I stand in. That's something that would be done to the likes of us when we're trying to be silent. So I totally share that frustration and anger people have got. Now, where I don't quite share that anger is the idea that I'm going to stop supporting reform, because like I said at the beginning of the video, the consequences of that is that we're saying Nigel Farage and Reform UK are just as bad now as the two big parties. And I respect everybody's view, whatever side of the argument it's on. And I have two ways of thinking on this, on why people, members who's actually planning on standing for council, people who are actually going to go out there leafleting, are holding emergency meetings on whether they're even going to keep the branch open. And I think this is where we may differ. I think there was people out there who truly believed that Nigel Farage was the UK's Donald Trump, that he shared every one of the ideologies that working class people up and down the country had, and Nigel Farage was exactly the same. Now, if I'm completely honest, I never actually thought that of Nigel Farage. I see Nigel Farage as by the far the best of what we've got, of someone who can actually win elections, but I actually see him as more of a true conservative. And when I say a true conservative, I don't mean a Tory, what we have now, somebody out the Conservative Party. I mean somebody who is as centre as you're going to get when it comes to politics, and believes in the core values of what a conservative should do. Now, some of them things go against my beliefs. I have many views. Some of them are slightly more to the left, some of them are slightly more to the right when it comes to immigration, and a lot of them I think are just quite common sense, and that's where I think Nigel Farage is. So I understand for those people that believe that Nigel Farage would do mass deportation on 5-6 million people. Now, when I listen to Nigel talk about stuff like that, I think he's actually being a little bit too honest, something we don't get in politics. What Nigel Farage is saying is, he's not going to make that a policy because he doesn't think it's possible, and that has angered a lot of people. Then I think there is the other type of Reform UK member who's leaving, and these are the people that are going to be hard to win over. The people who might have had my views on Nigel Farage and Reform UK, they thought they was by far the best. They're very centrist on a lot of the views, but when it comes to things like immigration, they're absolutely spot on for stopping things like the illegal boats. But the biggest thing is we actually believe that they want an independent, sovereign country with more local government rather than the big nanny state that you see under the Labour Party, where the big government, we're going to take care of you all. They believe in small government, self-governing yourself. Then people believe in the values of Nigel Farage, but they feel personally let down. And they're the people which is going to be hardest for Nigel Farage to win back over, because they're the people that actually win you elections. You get your people, and I hate use. I've said this before, I say it on most videos, I hate the term left wing, right wing, but you get your people whose views are more towards the right or more towards the left. Those people don't win elections. Your core vote, they certainly help, and you can't lose them, which is what's happened to Reform UK now. But it's the people on the centre who can switch. So people who voted for Tony Blair, then they voted for David Cameron, or they then voted back to Keir Starmer. Although they didn't go back to Keir Starmer in massive numbers, they just stayed at home. But you get what I'm saying. It's the people who down the middle, they look at the cost of living, the NHS, schools, etc., etc. They're the people that, if they feel hurt by Nigel Farage and now think that Reform UK is a wasted vote, then Nigel Farage might well be in trouble. But I hope that these local branches don't cease to exist, because, like I said, even if, like me, you have feelings where you feel uncomfortable about the Rupert Lowe situation, you feel sorry for Rupert Lowe, although I don't believe Rupert Lowe is completely innocent in all this. I think there's a lot of egos. There's a lot of egos in politics altogether. There'll be a lot more going on behind the scenes that you and I know, but I completely agree the way it's been dealt with, it has been horrendous. But even if you feel like that, the question we should all ask ourselves is Nigel Farage how he is now with Reform UK the way it is, with him as the king of it, do we not think that that is far, far better than the Labour Party and Conservative Party? Because I do. No matter what happens, I will still go out and vote, and I will vote Reform UK because it is by far better. And hopefully, if it wins government, it'll do a better job. And guess what? If it doesn't, you can always then vote for somebody else. But the problem is with a splinter group or another party on the right setting up, who's going to be far more speaking the language of probably the majority of working class people, especially working class men, when it comes to things like immigration. Because let's be honest, the majority of us would rather see everybody who's come over here illegally deported, because let's be honest, they've come over here illegally. But that party will cut into Reform UK's vote, and it will never ever win an election. Look at the United Kingdom Independence Party, UKIP, since Nigel Farage left. The leader of UKIP actually said a few weeks ago on an interview he wouldn't accept Rupert Lowe because he's basically just a conservative. So they don't even see Rupert Lowe as part of their outfit. So that is my big concern at the moment. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. If you're one of them people who's rather believes Nigel Farage is too centrist, or you're one of those people who, like me, agree with the policies of Farage on 90% of them. We never always agree on everything, but you're one of them people that might feel personally hurt by it. Please also comment. And if there was an election held tomorrow, would you vote Reform? Would you vote another party on the right, or would you simply not vote? Thank you all for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next video.